Hey guys, how's it going? I am currently in Oregon and we are getting a private tour of Bailey's Nursery. We're gonna run into their lab culture. This is where they do all their tissue samples. I'm excited to be able to take you guys behind the scenes for this. There are a lot of content creators here right now, which is really, really cool. Like, everybody is here. So you guys should see a couple cool videos from a bunch of other people. We are gonna jump in and we get to go see a private tour of this entire lab. So let's go check it out.
Start of the day. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the TC Lab. Hope you guys are all doing good so far. Yeah. Not too jet lagged, some of you, I'm sure. Well, I'm going to give you guys kind of a brief background and history of the lab, what we do here, and then we're going to have you guys come in and you'll all get to do different parts of the lab. We'll break you into 4 groups, and we're going to have some of you doing initiation, making media, transferring plant materials, and then getting a tour of the lab. So we're going to do a lot of hands-on TC work. So TC 101 today for everybody. I don't know if many of you have experience in tissue culture, but okay, I'll kind of give you guys a kind of just a quick lesson as we go. But the lab itself is 15 years old. We started about 15 years ago. We do 1.3 million plants in the lab a year. Our busy season is kind of the off season from the rest of the company, because our busy season is the winter. Because in a TC lab, the plants don't know that it's winter. They grow year round. And so we're producing all the plants over the fall and winter to ship out into the spring to the greenhouses to be acclimated. And so this is actually our slower time right now in the summer, which is kind of different for a nursery. Again, we do 1.3 million plants, 4,500 square feet. During the high season, we have 22 people in the lab. During the low season, we have around 16 people in the lab. Most people that come to the lab, we do training. Most people do not have experience doing tissue culture. It's kind of a small group of us that know how to do TC, and so we do a lot of the training and onboarding here. We do primarily trees and shrubs in the lab, a little bit of perennials that we're starting to do. And actually half of what we do are root stocks for cherry and pear industry in the lab. But we also do have oak leaf hydrangeas here in the lab, which are very cute. And then some blueberries, raspberries, and other things. And a lot of Syringa vulgaris. We have 18 different varieties of Syringa vulgaris. And then Cynthia makes all the media. So that's everything that the plants grow in. Because you'll see in tissue culture we have no soil here. Everything is provided with in the media the plants are in. And it's like a Jell-O consistency. It looks just like Jell-O, it feels just like Jell-O, but don't eat it, it's not Jell-O. And so all the plants' nutrients are in that media for them to grow. So once we put them in there, we don't touch them again for 6 to 8 weeks. No watering, no fertilizing, no anything like that. So it's very different than the rest of the nursery, most horticulture. Please ask questions as you go. Don't stress, all the plants are just for fun. If you contaminate them, kill them, or drop them, it's fine. We didn't add you guys to production today, so it's fine, it's just for fun. But please ask all the questions you can think of when you're going. We thought it's a lot easier when you're doing it hands-on to really get a feel for what it is we do, and I know you'll have more questions as you're in there doing it.
So obtaining optimal stock material is critical for producing strong, healthy plants in the lab. This means the stock plants themselves, like these guys, need to be really healthy and strong and well maintained. If the material that we use comes from a weak, poorly diseased kind of plant, they're weak and they die in the lab. It doesn't work. Second step, again, these 2 pictures are not correct. Those actually show micro cuttings, but the second is going to be preparing the material, and it's done inside the kitchen. This is where we remove the leaves and trim the bases and then put them in water. Since the material comes from outside, we want to remove as many possible pathogens as possible before we take them into the actual lab. Third step is simply to wash them with soapy water. The fourth step involves a disinfection solution. And then the last step is done under the laminar hoods, where we use sterile forceps and scalpels that you'll kind of learn more about when you work with Raina. And we do 1 plant at a time in case there's contamination. We need to Sometimes we can start a whole line just from one plant.
160 grams. That's right, you're not messing around.
She was confident.
Very confident.
Uh-huh.
There you go.
Perfect. First try.
First try.
And next and last is pH.
What it needs, right?
They do a lot of testing to find the right formulation to make that plant grow well. And it's not the same as yeah, just what it felt
Scientist.
These are blackberries, and this is 8 weeks old, and this is how they were when they were planted 8 weeks ago.
Wow.
So you can see. So these could actually double to triple in 2 months. What the ladies under the hood are doing is they've used up all the nutrients in their media now after about 8 weeks, and they're putting it into fresh media to get it growing again. So in 8 weeks it'll do this again. And you can see there's no roots in here. They don't need roots in tissue culture to get their nutrients.
So did the nutrients, did this eat all the nutrients? You're using the exact amount, or do you change like the
That's a great question. No, it's exactly the same.
exact same? Got it.
So they slowly use this up and then put in fresh media with the exact same.
Got it.
And so within this media, it's the exact same, like I said, consistency as Jello, and that's only so the plants will stay upright. And we actually use an auger similar to when you make Jello. You gotta heat it, and then you pour it in, and then it gels, and then you're good to go again. So we don't want it to root in tissue culture. Some will, just on their own, because we won't put in the energy into rooting. We want them putting their energy into growing. And we don't need, since we don't need roots. Some will just do it on their own, but we prefer they don't, because we want them to put their energy into growing. So in this stage, we put the growth regulator is a cytokinin. So that causes cell elongation in plants. And that's what we have here. When we want it to root, we put oxo, like IVA, like if you use dip and grow powder at home when that's what it's got in there, is IVA. And that's what we'll put in here to cause roots.
In this area, what are we gonna see? We're gonna see the stage 2 multiplication, and what we do is every 6 to 8 weeks, we multiply from this to these tiny babies. So every 6 or 8 weeks, depend on how many pieces we need per container, we create 2 or 3 containers from one. 2 or 3 containers from one to get to this point. And the other way we do stage 2 multiplication is microcarriers, is another way we send plant out there. When the plant is ready at 8 weeks, we work with our hands in this area. We put some water on, pull the plant, put them in a plate, and start to process the plant. And what we do is clean the bottom, remove the bottom leaves, and cut with a scissor. And then from this, we can count 200 pieces. And we do microcarriers. This is microcarriers. And we send the plant like this to the greenhouses. We skip one step, the rooting part. We send this plant to acclimate. And We send it in a plastic bag like this, 200 micrograms per bag. And depend of the order, we send like 5,000 or more per box, in a box. And this is one way. The other way, if we are doing rooting, if we are making an order like of acer or betulas, we select only wood pieces to put in a rooting media to get to this point, to create roots.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
Everything under the hood is clean. We have to use alcohol to clean our hands, and then take our tools, and we try to work by the red line, and use a clean container. Remove the leaves very carefully. Do not put your fingers inside because it's sterile. And then, because we are not gonna touch this plant until in 6 or 8 weeks, when the plant is big like this. And then, if we are rooting, we select only tips on the stage 3. But if we are building or we are working on stage 2, we use every piece, depend on how many we need per piece. And we remove like 2 leaves from the bottom and then plant. And you want to take from very close from the bottom to help the plant to go into the media. And you wanna take your forces like a pencil position. That way it will be easier for you to plant. And like in this space, you have a little baby here. You don't want to damage that baby. And you just do you make a fresh cut and then put him in the media, because that baby will grow or is growing already. And you have good plant material for next time. Yeah.
Good, like that? Okay. Oh, okay, that's way better. Okay.
They did all of this for lunch today. So they set up a tent and then they lined it with plants. Look at how much color there is here. It's so beautiful. All the things that I can't grow very well. So this is crazy. Okay, we just finished lunch. It was great. We had sandwiches under this tent, under these giant trees right here with these big, huge, beautiful seeds of pasta. We're now gonna go tour some bare root trees, like how they grow bare root trees, I guess. I don't exactly know. I have food in my face? Cool. Yeah, so we're gonna go tour a whole nother section, and then after that, we have a little break, and then we get to have dinner tonight. It has been, we've been going since about 7:45 this morning, so one more spot, and then we get a little break.
We've got up to 500 acres in production, but it takes a team to make all this work, because we've got 1,500 acres to manage around all the blocks. So some of it's cover cropped, some of it's planted, some of it's cover crop from our farmers. So this is what just came back from propagation, and we'll look at we'll go over a little bit of the details of growing, but we won't get too crazy about it. But anyways, we ask that they continually pop these back so that we can get nodal growth down below. So all those little liners there to the northwest, don't quote me on that. This is 1 year old. Yeah, I know. This is all 1 year older than what we receive at prop. In production, and I don't throw the sustainable thing, but it just works. Less is more in a lot of cases. And so we try and do single passes with everything. It's less, it's just easier for us. Less compaction, less breaking up the ground. So these transplanters that we have, it's a single pass. We get the liner, they put it inside these little clasps, forward driven, and then it transplanted. All at the same time as we've got drip irrigation hose reels that are being injected into the ground at about, it's like 6 to 8 inches. And so as they're planting and putting that stuff in the ground, it's running the drip tape at the head and all in one single pass. Whereas sometimes you have to go and do some of these things separately, however your irrigation's set up. But again, this puppy's set up, we can do anywhere from 45 to 50,000 liners on the in a given day with a crew of about 10.
Well, that is the end of day, it's technically day 2. First day wasn't really a whole lot, I didn't film anything, but the end of day 1 out doing things and exploring the fields is officially over. So we're all headed out to a winery and we're gonna go get dinner. I will probably not be having any wine because they give me migraines, but it was so much fun today. We learned so much. We went all day long and we start again tomorrow. So I'll try to pop in some clips of things that we do tomorrow also. So today we got to go learn about tissue culture and how these plants start, and then it was really cool. We actually got to create tissue cultures from ones that were molding, and so that they weren't going to be able to use them anyways. But it was cool for us to be able to do it. And then we got to go out to the bare root tree field and see and learn how they do bare roots. So I don't really know how well I'm doing with video on this because there's so many people that are trying to also get footage, and it's also really loud. And then there's also some people who just don't want to be in video, which is totally fine. So I will see you guys in a second for tomorrow, what we do. All right, it is day 2, and you can see we are in the warehouse right now. Everyone is learning about more propagation, and then we are potting up some plants, potting up some of the propagation, the tissue cultures that we took yesterday. We are potting them up right now. And then we also get to do an assembly line, and then there's some type of robot in that room that we get to go check out. So lots of things. We get to see all the kind of like behind the scene things today, which is pretty cool. So I'll take you guys along for some of it. I don't know exactly what's happening for half of it, but I will try to update you guys as I understand.
Not deliberately, but we were sending some weeds to our customers and our co-workers. So we're actively trying to find a way that we could reduce the weeds being sent. A lot of these herbicides in conventional chemistry are not legal, not labeled for greenhouse propagation. These manufacturers will not put it on the label because of the high risk, so we came up and thought we have to do something. We looked at a lot of alternative sands and humuses and anything local that we could get our hands on. And long story short, hazelnuts kind of came to the top. It's easy, it's very local, it's pretty much a byproduct. In the beginning stages, they were giving it to us.
And this process is really simple, it's really easy. Some people using like this little wood of, and another people use the side to do it by hand. Just try to put it in the middle. Just don't put it too deep. And push it a little bit. Just put, yep.
Okay, we are officially on the assembly line, so we're gonna take some cuttings and we get to put out trays. So here we go. Cool?
Yeah, totally fine.
This is more fun, a little bit bigger. A little easier than the small ones over there.
I just jumped in right here. 2 hands? I'm doing 2 hands.
I don't
I'm
know.
like,
Whatever
grabbing
it is,
a
Robbie's
fistful.
tired.
Robbie's motoring through
Here we
it.
go. Yeah, it's moving pretty quick. Yeah, it's speeding it up. Oh. It's like they slowed it down. This is regular speed. This is regular speed? I was gonna say they sped it up real fast. I got like one tray, like 1 row full, and they were like, "Yep."
You're done.
Apparently.
The average for plant of people is 500 pesos.
500 plants an hour.
You guys are the
Let's test it. Yeah. Is this just water?
Yeah, just one.
You planted cuttings, you've prepared some of the tissue culture, the AI that we hear on TV and see in other facilities in manufacturing. This is what's happening here. I will run it and then let you take your video and audio and pictures, and then we'll talk a little bit about it. It's about 95% accurate. We've been told it needs to be higher than that. That is good enough for me. We're not 95% accurate out there. So if we're 95,
Who told you it needs to be higher than that?
yeah, the computer people said we should be 98, 99.
But you'll take 95.
I'm taking 95 because we're doing something else later on. After the robot's done or after they're planting, now what? So this is the stage of now what. Behind us are just traditional shipping containers, cargo shipping containers. And we have outfitted them to an acclimation, a tissue culture acclimation area. It's different than what we saw yesterday, so we thought it was worth a stop. What we saw yesterday was more of a traditional greenhouse, benches, hoops, and tents. A lot of that, some of those same principles are here today, but just in a different format. So Abby will open one of the doors.
This looks like
You're in
teacher's
there?
room.
Yeah. I can be on a little bit.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah. The reason why we're mowing is for that branching, right? Again, we've done a lot of propagation the past couple days. You're sticking a single stem, right? Weigela, hydrangea, whatever you've been working on, it's that one. How do you produce a quality, high quality shrub? You don't want a little, whatever, spirea or lilac to have one stem and go to the moon. What do you want? You want something branching and you want it low. So you want something that's low and branched really well. And how do you do that? Usually by trimming. It's a really economical way to do trimming without, some chemistry will do it, but it's not consistent. But you want some low trimming. This little liner, I always think that this mowing is so critical, especially for shrubs. It's so critical because it's going to give you that consistent look. If you're putting these in your landscape, golf course, Department of Transportation, anywhere like that, you want consistency. You want a consistent look. You're going to buy 10 or 20 or 100 of these, you want the same one. And so mowing and trimming is really critical to ensure that they have that nice support and they have a high quality. You go to the garden center and they all look the same and say, "Oh, I'll take 3. I need a path for my front door." That's through this team. We picked a couple greenhouses that have some shade. I think Abby's going to run the boom here. So this is mist propagation. All the cuttings that you were sticking this morning will go into houses like this, and then this irrigator with a fine pass of mist, it's going to give a fine pass of mist to keep those cuttings hydrated. Remember that they don't have any roots on them. The ones that you're planting on Station B, no roots. So would they desiccate? Well, yeah, immediately in about 15 minutes. We're about 15 minutes, maybe 20 tops, from something that's alive to start all over again. We don't have a long time. They have nothing. They've been cut off the branch and they just want to desiccate. So this is the system. We're going to go into a greenhouse. The growers are going to lay them down and start to adjust that mist cycle. We call that a traveling irrigator or a boom. A boom is kind of the common term. And that is going to go back and forth over the top of the plants.
These are all the eclipse hydrangeas. Oh, these are so cool. Look at how dark these are.
Just gotten this drone within the last couple months. I'm in the process of getting my pilot's license so I can use it. Yeah. I was hoping to have it today so that I could give you guys a demonstration, but we had a lot of stuff to do this
You want to fly that? You want to be responsible?
It's been busy. Yeah.
You could like lift somebody up with that, right?
Yeah, about 200 pounds.
Okay, we have finished up our morning and it is now having lunch. We're actually wrapping up lunch right now. And then we're gonna go tour their coolers to see how they store their bare root. And then we're doing a design class. And then I guess we get to play around with some of the flower beds right here and actually like design a few things. So that'll be fun. I asked them if it was a competition because I'm very competitive. They said yes. So I will show you guys kind of what we do for that. I'm hoping I get my own space. So yesterday when we were having lunch, they cleared out these beds and this is, I guess, what we get to do. So I don't exactly know how it's gonna work, but I guess we get to go through all the plants. There's like coneflower. What are these? These are really interesting. Coreopsis. I like these coreopsis better than the coreopsis that I have. These are white with purple. It'd be interesting to see if those white flowers burn. Lots of perennials. I love the grasses. I just saw these. These are really pretty. I think I want to add some of these to the garden. This one's really pretty. It's kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of glowing a little bit. Can I even grow this? 2 or 3 feet tall, 2 feet wide, zone 5. Drought tolerant, long blooming. Interesting. And this is one that I do want to grow. I think these would be pretty by the greenhouse. I like the color of them. The Cinnamon Girl Distillum, hardy in zone 7, heat zone 9, 2 to 3 feet tall and 3 to 4 feet wide, and it says full sun to part shade. I like the color of these. It kind of reminds me of an olive a little bit. I don't know why. It's the leaf shape, I think. But I do like these, and I would like to add some of these into the garden.
A chance asked to come out during harvest. This is my absolute, it's the most miserable but the funnest time of the year. There's a lot of things going on, but it's just like one giant puzzle that you have to continually work through. We have material coming in from multiple locations. We're bringing in our trees from the field. We're bringing in trees from Sabia Island. We have a finite amount of space. We have a finite amount of pallets. We have a finite amount, not a finite, but we have a limited amount of work. So you have to continually move things around to make sure that this is I always think it's like playing cards. And it's like, okay, what's our best hand this week? Because we're not sure what the weather's going to do, if we're going to be able to dig. If it looks like this good forecast is coming up, it's like, yeah, I want to play a full house. So we stop what we're doing. We do certain things to free up the space, and then we go outside, and then we bring all the material in. So whatever the conditions give to us, we just always play the best hand. We have 4 large coolers. We have 2 primary forms of storage. We have what's called sawdust, which is outside, and then we have cold storage, which is inside. So this is our processing space. So we bring the plants in either palletized and or loose. It just depends on how things fit. Again, it's all about playing cards. We get more volume per this area if we palletize it. We get more volume this way if we put it in the loose load. Or is David falling behind and I need to provide him with pallets? Let's go loose and let's make sure that we free up the pallets. Again, just keep on playing hands.
Oh my god, this is cool.
Whoa.
It's like a haunted tree house.
Yeah.
So
These are all garbage?
This is a heartbreaker. Don't understand it probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Garbage.
No.
They're good, but they just weren't sold. Every single tree that we dig out of the field has a caliper and measure to make sure that the top has the minimum width, and so that it also has a minimum height of it. Every single tree is counted, processed, and put together, and then we pack them away. So I had a lot of comments about like, are these all wasted and all that stuff like that. That's just the nature of our business. So I mean, I told you yesterday, we are planning 3, 4, 5 years ahead on these plants. So these plants, the number or quantity that we wanted to grow was picked back in 25? I got 2022. 4 years ago on this specific tree. So 4 years ago, none of us had the crystal ball. We sit down for 2 weeks and we say, okay, what are the trends? What are things looking like? And that's just it's how the chips fall. It sucks, but at the end of the day, the economy is the economy. So these are trees that we did not sold, but that's how everything's planted outside. We make the best decision we can with the information that we have, trying to understand. There's people that are like more into the economical models, but at the, it is a little bit of a crystal ball. But so and then also just people's tastes are changing. It seems like a lot of our large scale trees, your rubrums, your big old open landscape 50, 60 footers, they're just falling out of favor. A lot of more shorter. If you look at around
builders are building these tiny houses on these tiny lots, and we can't put no trees anywhere.
Yeah. So compact trees are becoming like some of the shorter trees and some of the more just slender niche trees are a little bit more in favor. But a lot of the larger trees. So we discuss those things. 2-year tops with the 3-year root. That's about 210,000 is what we got in these things. All of this area is our processing space. This is where all the plants are laying on the ground and we're cycling through them. We start the harvest with 2 coolers running because I just need them to pack and stack and pack and stack. And then I started using the sawdust as a buffer because if I have that stuff outside in the sawdust, albeit I do have to bring them in, I look at flavors that are shipping out, like for example, now is spring snow. We grow 25,000 in that tree. I looked at some reporting. We ship out 15,000 by February 26th or something like that because certain customer is like, yeah, put half that crap outside. And we extend our life in here. The faster we put the racks in, the faster people are crammed, the faster that we can't process. So there's I love the management part of this. Like I love just trying to efficiencies and how there's little things. My favorite thing's logic in terms of like management because a lot of times we kind of focus on the mechanical side, but logic has taken me further than anything else that I've done so far. Just like what makes sense.
They set up dinner tables for us. So cute.
This was what will really tie. I saw pictures of you guys last year in Minnesota. Do you remember being in their paniculata fields?
Yes, of course we do. Do we remember?
So, yeah, right there. So to tie this all together, from that field, propagation would have taken a cutting off of that branch and rooted it from that field. That plant was probably in that field that you walked through last year.
Yeah, that's true.
So this was propagated probably last August from that field. Propagated in Minnesota. They dig this in December. They grade it. They send it to us down here. We get this in February. We stick it in our freezer. Then in May, we go and plant this. So you'll see a field where we just freshly planted. But we're going to show you what that will look like next year because that field's a little bit hard to get to. We won't go over there. So explain. So this is planted for 1 year. So in 2000, this field was planted in 2023. Yeah. So let's just say in 2000. So if this is planted in 2023, in 24, show them what you would do in the spring.
In the spring, so basically we'll cut it back right here. We'll cut it this one right here. Right here, you'll leave it. And then we'll start grow a bud from here. And then we'll see that way.
So
like that.
This will pop a bud right here. So this bud right here, would have started growing this May. growing up, and this is what he's doing right now. He stakes this in April.
Yeah.
Brings this one up, cuts a second one off. We always leave two in case we break something. And we bring this up the stake.
Okay.
We use this grow tube. We cover them when they're about this big to get them to grow up. It's like a mini greenhouse inside because we want to elongate the nodes. Because once this thing flowers, that's why you'll see a lot of up and down. Once it flowers, you're done.
That's your
It's a wrap.
standard. Once it flowers, that's your standard height. We can't change it.
If it flowers and it's coming up, and if you flower and it grows again, if we were to sell that, a customer calls that a dog leg. They don't like having a crook in your trunk. So we got, once it just flowers, we're done. So that's why we put these grow tubes on to push it as fast as we can.
That's why.
And so these are all own root?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Growing.
We're
Yep.
cutting from this. Here's a question for you.
So how many grow tubes do you put on in a season?
Around
100,000.
wasn't
100,000.
About 100,000. So
Yeah.
we have
Our
boxes
schedule's
and
100.
equipment just set up to store, to distribute, to pick back up.
They're actually taking them off right now.
Right now.
Every spring, I go and prune it back.
That's what I was
Pretty
gonna
hard
say.
to keep it nice and sturdy, which, sorry, Nick, I'm going to start with your plants, but let's just say this plant's like right here, or it grows up much. Like every spring, I'll just come back and just.
Please,
please,
chop it,
now-
chop it. Do it.
And then that will, yeah, and that makes it stronger, that base. And so every year you kind of have this as it comes out. So-
I will also say a part of what is different with Bailey's and other people that are growing tree form hydrangeas, a lot of folks are doing it containerized,
Right.
and they're doing it in greenhouses, and they're really pushing growth. So it's really spindly. We're bringing them out in the field. We have much more caliper.
Gotcha.
I heard what you said.
Makes sense.
Okay, you guys are in a block of hazelnuts. Why did Bailey's start growing hazelnuts? Why? We had the land. The other thing we needed to figure out is how to level out our labor, right? So we were leasing land to farmers, and we felt that we could get more profitability off of growing hazelnuts ourselves. But also, as things changed up here at Sauvie Island, like David mentioned, they used to do direct shipping, so that was a lot of spring activity. They no longer have that. We need to level out our workload. So by doing that, these things need a love of labor. So a lot of pruning. So that gives us a workload in the springtime when our bare root season's over. Some unique facts with hazelnuts. It's a tree that never sleeps. You may ask why. When does this tree pollinate?
Winter.
Dead of winter. No leaves are on it. It's already starting to get catkins forming for this year's pollinations. The nuts are actually on it. You can see from the pollination this winter, here's a cluster of nuts. These naturally drop. We use that windrower to windrow them together, and then we have the harvester that picks them up, blows off husks, blows off any leaves, any other debris. It's on a chain. Soil hopefully falls through. If it's a dry harvest, goes into the nut cart, and then we have a process, and we haul this bulk down to the Newburgh area to a processor. So the Nutlicious that you guys saw or got, right? Yes. Is being produced by the packing plant that we actually sell to. We actually are, hopefully someone mentioned, some of the hazelnut topping that we're getting for mulch for weed management is also coming through this vendor. So,
Do you get it at a discount?
yes, some of it's been free, but they are really looking at trying to figure out a use for that byproduct of a revenue stream, because it's, how many hazelnuts are in Oregon, acreage wise? 90,000.
Oh, wow.
We are less than 5% of the global market. Turkey is over 80+% of the global market. So we are very niche. Yes, we have a lot of acreage, but we're very niche. Majority of the hazelnuts these days are actually being trying to be sold through consumers of different brands, types of materials in the United States.
Oh my gosh.
Repeat, just an old the bare root is grown here at Sauvie Island for Bailey Nurseries.
Okay, this is so crazy. This is the field of hydrangeas. You can see all of the different colors. It's so pretty. Look at all the way up through the oak trees. It's insane. I cannot believe I'm in a field of hydrangeas, especially because I don't grow hydrangeas very well here. And so to be able to see this is really, really cool. So it's all, I don't know, it's just magical. Here is probably my favorite field of the hydrangeas, just because it has some magnificent oak trees in it. And I don't know, it's kind of up on a hill, so it kind of overlooks some of the other fields. It's so gorgeous here. It feels very unreal. And like the surrounding, and then you can see we were all just in those fields. That's kind of where we started out. We're having lunch all the way over there. But you can see everybody's out here trying to get photos in the hydrangea fields, and they go on forever. We're in the rose field now. Oh my gosh, they go on forever. And you guys can see the yellow and the red. That is barberry. There's just so much. Look at the roses. Hills of roses. It's like Wizard of Oz in here. So this alone has been just an experience of a lifetime. I mean, I can't believe that I'm just walking in a giant field of hydrangeas. I'm being swallowed, eaten alive by them, and it's so cool. So thank you to Bailey's for flying me out here and giving me a tour of their gardens and how all their plants start, where they end up. And I hope that you guys have actually enjoyed this also. It's just been a total fever dream. So I think that that's gonna be it for this video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Thank you guys for coming along with us, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye guys.